Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning, everyone. Okay. I am Siti Rohai binti Saman and my group members, Nur Nabilah binti Muhammad Said and Hanis Amira binti Ramli. We are from group 5. And inshallah today we will discuss several topics regarding sociology of education. Like we can see, table of content consists of 5 topics like firstly, concept and importance of sociology of education, and then the relationship between society and school, comparison between three Western theories views on education and schooling, and then comparison between Muslim scholars' perspective on education and schooling, and the last one, comparison between Islamic and Western perspective on education. So next. So first one, we will go through the concept and importance of sociology of education. We usually hear about the sociology and education. So what is the exact meaning of sociology of education? So we will go one by one. Okay. So many views from scholars figures define the meaning of sociology of education. So what is the meaning of sociology? So according to E.T. Hiller, he defined that sociology is the study of relations between individuals, their conduct and reference to another, and standard by which they regulate their association. And then, according to Tisler 1999, sociology is the scientific study of human society and social interaction. And the last one, according to Moore and Cole, they define that sociology studies plural behavior. By plural, it means that behavior of individuals which is performed in relation to other individuals. So, settle on sociology, we move to the education. What is the meaning of education actually in our life? So, education, according Aristotle, he defined that education is the creation of a sound mind in a sound body. John Dewey say that education is the process of living through a continuous construction of experience. So generally we can say that education is the knowledge, skills, habits, and moral of a group of people are transferred from one generation to the other generation through the teaching, learning, and research. Okay. So as a whole, sociology education means the study of how public institution and individual experiences affect educational and its outcomes. Institution and individual experiences. So we can say that sociology of educational sociology is a branch of disciplines of sociology which studies the problems of relationship between society and education. It focuses to study social interaction and social interaction or social communication, like that. Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much, Sister Rahayu, for your opinion. My name is Nur Nabilah binti Muhammad Said, matric number 1910566. And inshallah, I will continue our discussion about the relationship between society and school. Okay, in my opinion, society and school are inseparable as both of them have a strong relationship between one another. The reason why I stated that is because school is one of the most important institution or platform for the student to socialize and to interact with the other student. Okay, for your information, school is not only the place for the student to gain and to learn about common knowledge, for example, mathematics, science, geography, but it is also part of the social institution. This is because school exposes students to a new norm and new people, and they get to learn about the diversity of the culture. Okay, meaning that the school is the socialization process where students can nurture positive values from the others and this will help them to become a well-functioning and better society in the future. Okay, and then I think that the positive school environment can also develop students' social skill and student self-development to become a good society. In short, school is the most important factor in the socialization process. Okay, that's all from me. Okay, now we move to the next topic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sister Nabila. Okay, my name is Hanis Amira binti Ramli, matric number 1918748. And now I will continue the discussion on comparison between three Western theories' view on education and schooling. And next, okay, and there is three most important things in Western theories, which is the first one is conflict theory, and then functionalist view, and the last one is postmodernist view. And the first conflict theory. Okay, in conflict theory, Karl Heinrich Marx, or known as Karl Marx, is a German philosopher, psychologist, economist, and so on. And he is the pioneer of the conflict theory. Okay, the conflict theory assumes that society is a complex system and also characterized by inequality and conflict that lead to social change. And it also focuses on the struggle of social classes to maintain dominance and also the power in social system. And then the conflict theory in education system mirrors the inequalities present in society, which is this education system is seen to discriminate against the poor. So the conflict theories believe that education plays a negative role in society because it is not reduce social inequality, but actually maintain social inequality as it is at its as it forces students to accept their lower status in society. And they also believe that education gives the elite more control and only helps middle and upper classes. And then we move to the functionalist view. Okay, the pioneer of functionalist view and theory is Emil Durkheim. Uh, and Emil Durkheim sees education performing two main functions in an advanced in, industrial society, which is the first one is spreading the shared values of society, and at the same time teaching the specific skills to the economy based on specific division of labor. And functionalists also believe that education provides unity and togetherness and has a positive impact on society. They also believe that education prepares people for the work environment in the future and teach important skills such as communication skills, social skills, and whatnot. And then functionalists focus on the positive functions performed by the education system. And there are four positive functions that education performs. The first one is creating social solidarity, and then teaching skills necessary for work. The third one is teaching us core values, and the last one is role allocation and meritocracy. Okay, then we move to the next next point, which is postmodernist view. Okay, the pioneer of postmodernist view is Jean-Francois Lyotard, was a French philosopher, psychologist, and literacy theorist. Postmodern, first, we have to know what is the postmodernism. Okay, postmodernism means that it is a broad movement that developed the mid to late 20th century across philosophy, the arts, architecture, and criticism, marking a departure from modernism. And some critics says it is rejection of modernism, and others says that its more extreme version of modernism. And there are the theme of postmodern education, uh, which are the first one is high level thinking that train the youth to be thinkers, which can develop critical thinking skills. And then research involvement, which is involve all level of education from collegiate, secondary, and primary level. And then cooperation learning, then differentiation of instruction, and then service experiences. And the last one is character education, which is emphasis on renewed ethics and values formation during postmodern era. Okay, that's all for this point. So so uh, I will pass the discussion to my friend.
Okay, now we will discuss about comparison between four Muslim scholars' perspective on education and schooling. So first, I will talk about Ibn Khaldun and Al-Farabi. So many perspective or opinion from our scholars, our famous scholars about the education and schooling. So we go to Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun state that educational system of any society should be formulated in accordance with the ideology of the society. He also said that education should develop social and economy efficiency in men in order to survival in the society in future. And then according to him also, education should be means to bring happiness in life of people and aim to develop the power of thinking and reasoning. In terms of teaching, he discouraged the method of teaching which did not help students to think and solve problems by their own. He prefers participation and discussion than memorization. So next, what's perspective from Al-Farabi about the education and schooling? So Al-Farabi say that education concern the human soul, prepare individual from early age to be a good member of society of and on perfection. And then education also is the acquisition of values, knowledge, and practical skill by the individual. So the goal of education is to combine learning with practical action, as the purpose of education is to be applied, and perfection is when it's transformed into action. So we can conclude that Ibn Khaldun he um, emphasizes the thinking and problem solving by the students, while Al-Farabi he emphasizes or focus on
Okay, thank you
on practical
once again,
actions
Sister Rahayu.
from
Okay,
what
now
we
I will
learn.
continue. Thank you so much, Sister Rahayu. Okay, now we move to the third Muslim scholar, which is Ibn Sina. Okay, for your information, Ibn Sina or Avicenna is considered by the modern scholars as the most well-known Muslim scholars. So, what are Ibn Sina's perception or perspective on education and schooling? Okay, first of all, education, according to Ibn Sina, to contribute to the overall growth of the individual physically, mentally, and morally. And then education should prepare individual to live in society according to his aptitudes. And Ibn Sina did not only focus on the moral, but also pays attention to the intellectual development, importance of knowledge, and personality related to body, mind, and character. And according to Ibn Sina, education is not only to produce good citizen, but also prepares human in his profession while contributing to structure. And then Ibn Sina sees education as making a good citizen, sound in body and mind, and also preparing human for intellectual and practical works. Okay, that is Ibn Sina perspective on education and schooling. And then the last one is Al-Ghazali. Okay, so what is Al-Ghazali's perspective on education? According to Al-Ghazali, education should cultivate men to abide by the teaching of religion for salvation and happiness in the eternal life and the hereafter. And then children education falls under the parents' responsibility, whereas the parents could upbringing give the children a good characteristic and lives a righteous life. And children should be exposed to education at the early age and learn about the Quran, learn about the prophets and also the religion. And then they need to be teach about respecting parents, elderly, and also have a good behavior towards the other classmate. And then the last one, education goes beyond training and information to intellectual, religious, moral, physical, and the personality of the learners. Okay, and then Al-Ghazali believes in putting theoretical learning into the practice. Okay, that's all from me. Now we move to the next topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Nabila. Okay, so I will continue the discussion with the comparison between Islamic and Western perspective on education. First, we look to the Islamic education. Okay, Islamic education can be defined as the process of nurturing and training the human mind, body, and spirit based on Islamic values, using the source from the Quran and Sunnah. And this is the true system that first brought mankind from the darkness of ignorance and illiteracy to the light of knowledge and education. And it can form so many relevance and advantages, not only to Muslims but also to all mankind in this world. And Islam views education as an act of worship and a lifelong process. Therefore, philosophy, methods, and content, and also curriculum generally lead to a successful integrative life for human beings. The ultimate goal of Muslim education is the realization of complete submission to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And then from Western perspective, okay, perspective. This secular system regards education as the engine of development. It sees education as tool of life and as tool of individual and national development. Education as an element of continuous and harmonious human existence and well-being, just as the case in Islamic worldview. And in the Western perspective also, a knowledge of science, technology, or business have more importance and priority than other religious and social studies. In this system of education, a man is free and responsible for his action. For his actions, his life is guided entirely by his actions and inaction, and therefore he is free to interest, choices, and prejudices. So that's okay. So I will continue with the comparison between Islamic education and Western education. Okay, in Islamic education, it focuses on spiritualism and materialism, while in Western education, it only focuses on materialism. And the main source for Islamic education are the Quran and Sunnah, while Western education, the main source is depending on human reasoning or human akal. Okay, in Islamic education, it connotes whole life approach and signifies complete integration into man's life. Meanwhile, in Western education, it absence of the spiritual domain in its sources and approaches. And then in Islamic education. Education as means of molding and also shaping the good character of individuals so that they can collectively represent Islamic values in their life and behave as vicegerents or Khalifah of Allah on this earth. And the last one is from the Western education. Western education sees education as the instrument of life and belief that education as a means of individual and national development. Okay, I think that's all from me. And is there anyone who wants to add their opinion or their point? Rahayu or Nabila or Nabila?
Yes, yes, I want to add something.
Okay.
Mm, so, from the whole topic in sociology of education, we can conclude that we conclude that um, that sociology of education is really important because sociology of education is a comprehensive study about the relation between socialization and the education or schooling, the each function and um, how they complete each other. Okay, so in order to develop our communication skill or our academic performance, so we can say that sociology of education apa dia,
Yes, I would
fully
like to
affect
add a little bit
our life.
about the relationship between
So
society and
anyone
education
wants to
and
add?
school that I have discussed before. Okay, which is the school can also provide knowledge about the social interaction, and it can also promote social integration between the teachers and then the students, and this can, and through the interaction between the teachers and the students, regardless of their race, their social, or their family background, it can enhance their uh, social skill and communication skill. And then it is undoubtedly clear that society and school are relatable as through participating in the group work or class work, the student inevitably need to interact with the other student in order to complete their task given by the teacher. So through this process, the student get to nourish positive values and can develop their self development. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to ask something. So from your opinion, do you agree
Mhm.
that socialization is beneficial and help you in your study? So what's your opinion?
Okay, let me answer first. Okay, in
Yes.
my opinion, socialization uh, at school is very important for me to achieve to successful in my life. Very important in my study because by socializing with my friend and by interacting with them, such as I can form a group study with them, and by doing that, I can learn and I can learn from them, and then it helped me to increase my to increase my understanding about the topic that were that was that I studied in my class. And then other than that, it's not only other than that I can we can transfer the culture and also we can share our own culture with each other. Other than that, it's not only by socializing with my friend, but also uh, but but teachers as well. Because by interacting with my teacher, it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot in my achievement in my study. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, in my opinion, I think that socialization is so important and is beneficial for us, especially in the study or education.
Mhm.
It is
Mhm.
because socialization process is not only can help us in improving our social skill, our communication skill, but it can also help us in improving our self-confidence or self-esteem. Okay, for your information, it is self-esteem or self-confidence is so important in the process of learning or in the process of education. This is because through the self-confidence that we gain through the socialization process, we get to be more proactive in the class or in participating in the group work or discussion where we can we can easily we can easily contribute our idea to the other group members. Okay, that's all from me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, next, I want to ask about your opinion regarding the
Mm-hmm.
social institution. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, is there any social institution other than school that can help you in socialization process or in improving your social skills? Can you answer that?
Okay. Based on my understanding, yes, there are many other social institutions that help our communication skill or our socialization process, such as through economy, politics, family institution, social media, and religion. So, for instance, from family institution, we can have more family time, bonding time, such as we go for a holiday or some vacation to spend time to our family members. So directly from that, such that way we can improve our communication skill, and at the same time it also help to build our self confidence. So that's all from me.
Okay. Okay, I want to add, other than family institution, media also act as social institution also, and media is a huge force in our current culture, and because as a human, we have the desire to for communication with other human, right? Okay, so media is very important for now, especially in this pandemic COVID-19 outbreak, because we cannot meet face to face, and we just can keep in touch uh, with by communicating with each other, using the technology in our country. Okay, that's all from me. Okay, now I want to ask the question for you guys. Okay, previously you has mentioned about Ibnu Khaldun perspective on that he prefer participation and discussion more than memorization. Okay, in your opinion, why do you think for participation and discussion is more preferable than memorization?
Alright, I
Okay.
would like to share my opinion. Okay, I think that participation and discussion is more preferable as it is part of the socialization process where through discussion with the group members, the student get to interact and socializing with the others, and they can absorb positive values, and this can help them to be a good society in the future. And in contrary, memorization is not part of the socialization process as we solely depending on memorization, and it does not determine our own self achievement, especially in the education. Okay, that is my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bila. I also agree with your opinion or your perspective. So, from my opinion, I also agree with Ibn Khaldun that participation and discussion is more important than memorization because participation and discussion uh, beneficial for us because when we participate or discuss in a group of people or in our team discuss about the certain subject, we will get a well understanding and we will get understanding and we will perform better. At the same time, we also can social with them. We can improve our communication skill. Uh, we can also strengthen our relationship. Okay? Then memorization. When we studies or when we studies only using memorization skill, it's not sufficient for us because memorization needs understanding, and then understanding, to understand we need people to refer. So it's related, but participation and discussion is more important, and then we can memorize the certain subject. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answers, Nabila and Rayu. And I think we have reached the end of the discussion today. So I would like to thank you all for your participation and also for your great attention to this discussion. So,
So that's all from us. Thank
Thank
you
you so
for
much.
Nabila and Amira.
Yes,
you're
thank you so much for
welcome.
having
Hope
us.
we hope that this sharing or this discussion will give a
Benefits you.
benefit and advantages
Yeah,
for all of us and out there. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.